Right from the beginning, we didn't really know who Simon was, so our first build was our relationship building. And then obviously from there onwards, we've used him a couple of times again. We definitely have built a friendship, but I think having a friendship with your builder is probably one of the most important things. You really do need to have an open communication and a friendship. With the Milton Project, we've got this beautiful 100-year-old cottage as the front prominent street house on the front, and then we have this beautiful flat, virtually flat open block at the back. So we talked to an architect, we engaged an architect because we sort of thought to ourselves, where do we start, what do we do? We did contact Simon straight away, even before the architect was on board, and had a chat to Simon about how that build would be, if he could do it. And then Simon sort of said, you know, go and engage an architect, let's get some designs, and we'll go from there. Anyway, we found a local architect which we were really happy with, and so we got some sort of drawings drawn up and got some ideas on how we want it to be, how we wanted the house to be and relaxed on the block. And from that moment onwards, we sort of were on our way. So then what we did was we brought Simon back in. Simon then sort of said, okay, well, this is what's going to work well on the block. This is how this build's going to work. These are our budgets. So it was a really open, engaging conversation. Simon fitted in with an architect which he hadn't worked with before. The communication got opened up really well. Simon worked with the architect really well. Then we went through a few designs. We went through where we're going to do a two-storey property, where we're going to do a flatter property, where we're going to do gabled roofs, where we're going to do flat roofs. So there was a lot of conversation, and Simon was involved in it from the beginning. He's a real can-do guy. There are challenges. There was distance challenges, you know, build challenges, all sorts of things. Not a local builder in a local area, but Simon was just made it happen. And that's actually what's really good about Prescom, is that happy to be involved. You know, and from the ground process up. We really engaged Simon's knowledge to come in and start working on, you know, how much it was going to cost, you know, how it was going to work. So Simon was really engaging with all of that and gave us lots of budgets on different types of builds that we were thinking of. And then we picked a build and we're on our way. That's when the whole process started with Prescom. Really getting down to the nitty-gritty. What are we going to build in? How is it going to look? What product are we going to use? And Simon really engaged with the architect and us to do that. So once that process started and we got all our approvals from the council, we were right to go. So it was pretty much following the map that we'd already talked about, because we really were able to bring him on board early, so we were all on the same page when the building started. When you're building, there's always challenges. Nothing ever goes to what you think it's going to do. There's lots of elements that can change things. You know, it was a COVID build, so there was a lot of stopping and starting on the site in relation to what New South Wales and the federal government were doing at the time. Simon was really good at making sure that that was all happening and our build continued on. And in that time, in the year that we did it, we had that massive rain weather event. So, you know, there was a lot of rain and all those types of things. There was some challenges in regards to materials. But Simon has a great relationship with who his suppliers are, and we just had a really good flow. We just had a flow of materials coming onto site. He really thought about what we needed, when we needed it, and how far in advance we needed it. And Simon just made it easy. I was definitely at times had a broom in hand. So, which was fun, because you know what, when you're actually building, it's your personal home or your personal site or personal property, you really feel like you want to be engaged. Well, I do. In all the builds that I've done personally, I like to be engaged in it. And you know, there was lots of conversations. Hey Heidi, come over here, let me show you how we're going to do this. What do you think? You know, is this going to work well? And we would have an open discussion on site and could visually see it, which was, yeah, I reckon was really good. So no, I felt like I was part of the team myself. Yeah, still do. So in regards to budgets, no one likes talking about the budget. You know, we think, you know, we've got a figure in mind, or the figure that we've got, or the bank's given us, or whatever the amount of money is. What's really good about Simon is he keeps you informed. And keeps you informed not just verbally, but you know, you get that communication back in writing, so we're all on the same page, so we know where we're up to. And then as the client, I can then make an informed decision. So we all want to keep that conversation open. Through the process with Simon, his approach to us, the open communication, the conversations, and also to allowing us to come onto site and go, hey, this is what's going on here, what do you think of that? We could visually see it. We could visually see how much passion and how much desire to make sure things were done right that Simon had, and his team. You know, like everything was checked. You could tell that there was passion, that you could tell there was commitment to the build. His team, not just Simon and his team and his apprentices and that, it's also the other people that Simon engages. It's the contractors, it's the tilers, it's the plumbers, it's the electrician. They all actually come together as a Prescom team, and you can engage with them just as the same confidence you engage with Simon, and the communication is really open. And he communicates that really well with his staff, because they're all on top of it too. So if I'm having a conversation with another carpenter on site or the tiler, they actually have had that same communication with Simon, so they know what we're talking about. So that's something that Prescom do really well. Anyone that walks into Milton, whether it's being the guy that comes and mows the lawn for us, or a little bit of landscaping stuff that we've had done, as soon as they walk in the gate into Milton property, they go, oh, how good is this? You think it's sort of like bricks and mortar and roofs and tin and all this hard sort of stuff, and absolutely it all is. But what Simon does is he actually, when he's building, it's like he's building his own home. He knows that he's building a home for somebody that's going to have a life in it, they're going to live in it, they're going to love in it, and that comes through just in who he is. And that comes through in how he engages with you and treats you as a person and treats you as a client. That's actually the most impressive thing. I'm proud of Prescom, I'm proud of his work, and I'm proud of our relationship that we've actually worked together. I know that I can ring Simon, he's going to pick up the call, he's going to say, hey Heidi, how are you? How's everything going? How's the build going? Is there anything that needs to be done? And I have that now relationship with Simon, but what is actually done is Simon's made that relationship. He's built the client, I'm the client, and now I have no hesitation in recommending him to anybody else. Because I know that if I recommend him to my girlfriend or to my friend, they're going to get the same service that I got, and it's impressive. And it's a quality build, quality people that you deal with, and Simon's a quality person. Pretty impressed. So definitely, if you need a builder, go to Prescom.